Hello, everyone. This is Marjorie Wildcraft, and today I'm in a rural area just above Basalt, Colorado, at the Central Rocky Mountain Permaculture Institute. And the reason I'm here is all throughout the years that I've been growing food, I've heard legends of a man who was growing bananas and oranges and tropical things in unheated greenhouses in a crazy place up on a mountain. And it's taken me a long time to track him down, but I think I finally have him. I'd like to introduce you to Jerome Osentowski. And again, we're at the Central Rocky Mountain Permaculture Institute.
And we're also standing in our food forest, our edible landscaping here, about an acre of edible landscaping outside. And then we have 5 greenhouses, one tropical, which is tropical edible landscaping, and one Mediterranean, which is Mediterranean edible landscaping, and 2 or 3 temperate annual greenhouses.
In addition to the outdoor food forest, can you explain to people that don't understand what a food forest is, a little bit about what a food forest is?
Well, it's not like growing food in a forest, but we look at a forest model and we mimic that. So if you would go into an aspen forest, you would have aspen as an overstory, and then you'd have shrubs and gooseberries and currants as mid-story, and then you'd have all kinds of wildflowers and nettles and mints as ground covers. Well, we kind of take that model and turn everything into edibles. So right above your head is a green gauge plum.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and there's not a lot of fruit on it this year, but it has some. Over here is an apple from East Germany, which is a really good keeper. It's a Rome type apple. Here is goji berry. And below us here, you're standing on prickly gooseberries.
Gooseberries, it got my feet.
And we have comfrey down here that we've coppiced for mulch, and we have garlic over there. And behind me, we have currants, several types of currants, and cherries, Nanking cherries by the chicken coop over there.
So just in this one spot, which to the casual observer, they would just say, oh, it just looks like a bunch of plants. But you've actually got an incredible amount of food growing here.
In one guild. So this is what we do in permaculture and forest gardening is plant guilds. And actually, it's a plant community. So most of these understory plants are companion plants for the apple and the plum, and they work in tandem. Not only are we concerned about the plants, but we're concerned about the soil. We're building soils here, millenniums of soil in 30 or 40 years. We're standing on a very cushy, mulched garden that has lots of worms and mycelium. If we were to reach down and grab a handful of that black worm castings with worms in it and mycelium, you could see what we're actually doing. And that's what makes the plants healthy and nutrient rich.
Wow. How many different species do you have, like of apples or pears?
About 150 right here, or more. I have 20 apples. I have 20 pears. I have 10 cherries, and some of them fruit every year. Some of them fruit every other year. Last year we had a bumper crop of everything, and with all that diversity, you're always getting something. Mulberries, grapes. We have 20 varieties of grapes that fruit at 7,200 feet and ripen. So that's pretty unique. Down in the valley, there might be a half a dozen grapevines, and we have 20 varieties here, just because we've gone out of the way to source out the hardy fruits. And another thing we do is we source out some of the old-time apples that grow in the valley and other places, and graft them onto hardy rootstock and then grow them out here. This is a good example of this. An East German apple is an old heirloom apple, and we have lots of those varieties, and all the plums, and there's a Mirabella de Nancy plum that's just delicious. It's a very late small plum, and it's very popular in France.
Now, you've been developing this over a number of years, and actually this land, when you originally bought it, was raw land, and this is a very steep sloped land, and when you came here it was mostly pinon and scrub oak, and it's just you've been building this over the years, and actually as you've had time and money building the house and the greenhouses and the other facilities that are here, and building the soil too.
Growth of the soil. And mainly we did that through mulching. And we had a market farm here on these terraces for 10 or 15 years. So we were growing annuals. And eventually we just got tired of doing that, and the soils burned out, and we started to plant perennials. And that takes a lot less work, and you build soils faster that way. And we also have nitrogen fixing trees and shrubs in this whole thing. Right below you is Astragalus mongoliosus, which is a medicinal plant, but it's also nitrogen fixing. Right in back of you there's Siberian pea shrub, which has an edible pod on it, but it also fixes nitrogen, and we coppice it for the animals. Or we could coppice it and lay it down as mulch. So every plant has several functions and ties into the whole system.
Yeah. Great. We're going to go into the greenhouse in just a minute and show you some of the things that Jerome's doing in the greenhouse. Now we're in Jerome's tropical greenhouse. This is the one that's really magical. And what have you got growing in here, Jerome?
Well, there's, I don't know, 75 varieties of tropical and Mediterranean, mostly tropical and Mediterranean fruits. We have 7 citrus growing and fruiting here. We have a pomegranate tree behind you, and several papayas behind us here. There's a nitrogen-fixing tropical tree there that we use. It's
the Lucena. That's my favorite. Yeah.
That's the one you grow in your garden. We grow it as a perennial here. It's about 3 inches in diameter, and it gets coppiced for mulch, chop and drop, or it gets coppiced for animal feed.
What is this greenhouse during the winter time? What are the minimum temperatures at this greenhouse?
We keep it around 45 to 50 at night. And we have a wood burning sauna. We have the claimant battery, which is our thing that we developed here. Is the passive. It's an active solar system where it pumps the hot air into the soil profile with simple fans and lots of pipes, and it stores that hot air during the day, hot humid air. And it comes out cool and dry during the day, and so it actually cools the greenhouse without opening it in the wintertime. And then at night, another thermostat will kick on at 50 degrees and bring the warmer air back into the greenhouse in the same direction. So that's something we've done, and we've commercialized that. And then when that doesn't take care of all the heating needs, and we have a wood-burning sauna that backs up. But we also have a lot of thermal mass, water storage, rock walls. And
how often do you have to burn a fire to get it going?
Probably about 20 nights out of the year. And you know, I have a routine now where I do my Bikram's yoga in the sauna. So I don't look at starting the sauna as a chore. It's part of my ritual. It's like, you know, it's in Finland. It's a tradition to use a sauna, and some old folks, they do it every night, you know, and purge themselves. And
so lighting the fire for the sauna is just a part of your lifestyle that using multi-purpose things.
Exactly. So we not only get the sauna, the hot yoga, but we heat up the walls of the sauna, which are 5 inches of concrete, and then marble inlaid, and that stays warm for 24 hours, and then it can heat the greenhouse for 24 hours.
Wow. Now you also have another greenhouse that's dedicated just to Mediterranean plants, and the thing that struck me the most, Jerome really has been here a long time, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to get the footage on this massive fig tree. This fig tree has like taken over the whole thing almost. It's amazing.
It's 20 years old, and it actually came from Hell's Farm south of Austin, so it's come pretty close to your neighborhood there, from one cutting, and now the branches are about a foot in diameter, and we propagate 30 or 40 figs from it every year, and we have 5 months of fig season, and we're still eating figs from the freezer.
That thing is loaded. I've got some footage we'll insert here of all the figs.
And we have pomegranate in that greenhouse. We have Pakistani mulberry, a huge rosemary bush. We have grapes and olives, and we still grow some annuals in there. tomatoes and other things. So basically, we've turned it into something that goes dormant in the wintertime, and it's an attached greenhouse. So it heats our house all winter long, and the house heats the greenhouse at night a bit. There is pretty much no leaves on any of the trees, so it can get much colder than this greenhouse.
This is really amazing. If you're really interested in food forest, Jerome by far is the person in the United States with the most experience. And you've been doing this in the outside food forest here is how many years old?
About 15 years at least, and because before that we were doing market farming, but most of the trees are 15, and they've been producing for a long time. And every year we add more varieties and new trees, new varieties, and it's like owning the candy store.
It's like I've been walking through here just going, this is crazy. Jerome, how can people get in touch with you? I know you offer workshops and training, and you teach people. You've taught many people, and I know you've inspired many, many food forests to be planted across the United States. How can people get to spend time with you directly? And I know that you need to come do this soon. Jerome is looking at maybe retiring or slowing down a little bit. He's clearly got a lot of wisdom.
Elder.
An elder. There we go. How can they get in touch with you?
Well, you can go on our website at crmpi.org, or you can email us at jerome@crmpi.org. And watch our video on our website. You can see the food forest in its glory from last year. So that would be a good way to watch the 45-minute video, and you could get enrolled for our academy next year, which we are doing like a 5-week program. And you're here for one of the weeks.
I'm just here for the food forest section, but he also has very in-depth workshops on how to build these kind of greenhouses with the climate battery technology, how to plant food forests, and actually a full permaculture design certification training. Is that correct?
Exactly. We're up to 28 years of the longest consecutive design course in the world, and we have one coming up in August the 10th, and next year we'll do one as part of this academy. And I really appreciate you coming, because you've had so much experience doing what you've done and been successful with your videos and all the stuff you've done on your homestead, and you were very helpful in the workshop and sharing that information with us today.
Thank you, Jerome. One other thing, Jerome also originally was a student of Bill Mollison, the very founder of permaculture.
Yes, I took two or three of his workshops back in the late 80s, and went on to start doing food foresting and teaching workshops right away.
Yeah. All right, y'all. The Central Rocky Mountain Permaculture Institute. Come visit Jerome. Come quickly and soon. Come learn from this man. This is Marjorie Wildcraft, and I'll see you on another video.